playground.
Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Deron Harris. This is my podcast. How you doing? Hopefully you guys are doing great this week. I'm doing well. I had a friend stop in and visit with me. I haven't seen him in a good 7 years. We used to work together. And really, really great guy. We visited for a few days. He came and stayed for a few days. And I think this is so great because I'm a huge advocate for mental health. And it was really good to hear that he had given up a lot of vices, like so many things in his life have changed because he chose to prioritize his mental health. And I just want to say, shout out to Marshall, man. Congratulations, homie. I really, really, I love you, brother, and I'm glad that you're on the path. So, but this week my mental health is good. I hope everybody has had a good week mentally. I do realize that the week has been a little strained, and today is Friday the 13th. We had the presidential debate on Tuesday, and I gotta say, man, I'm not necessarily sure that I'm convinced. Well, I know I'm not convinced by Donald Trump, and that's no secret. But I'm not necessarily sure that I'm convinced with Kamala Harris, even though we share a last name. But I'm not sure. More than likely, all roads point to me, because that's the way I've always voted, voting in that direction. But there was just some things that, I don't know, I just feel that it seemed a little rehearsed. Not necessarily rehearsed, but yeah, I guess, or acted. I don't necessarily know. And I'm a comic. I've been a comedian for a long time. I've acted in a few things also. And being a comic and an actor, you can see when somebody has kind of taken to a script because they're really trying to make it sound genuine. They're really trying to act this out. And only the greatest actors are able to achieve that. You have great actors out there. Robert De Niro, Tom Cruise even. There's so many great actors. Lawrence Fishburne, great method actors. Samuel L. Jackson, just people that are believable, even though that they're acting. This is a movie, but extremely believable. I don't know that, in my opinion, that she was 100% believable in her performance during the debate. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing her. I'm not bad-talking her, and that's not what I'm saying. I just believe that she may have been a little too overly prepared, if there is such a thing for this type of stuff. So, as I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm just, man, that just sounds so like somebody wrote it and you just quoted it and said it, or, you were prepared for this and you've gone over, which I guess you should. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. You should be prepared for the things that they throw at you. It's just one thing about Trump, regardless of how I feel about him, you can tell that he is genuine about what he is talking about. That he's genuinely believing the shit, and he's able to sell it. And he sells it well, obviously so. He's having a presidential debate. But there's a genuine quality. Like when this man says something about himself, you take it seriously. You take him seriously. This is who this person is. And I don't have to, he's going to let you know his body language, his attitude. He's a narcissist. He's going to let you know who he is and all about him and everything about his motherfucking ass. He's going to let you know. So in that, it's easy to take him seriously when he says stuff, even though people say, oh, you really can't take him seriously. Yeah, certain things you can. certain things you most definitely can take him seriously. When he tells you who he is, believe him. But Kamala, I don't know, not to say that she wasn't sincere, not to say that she is meaning to deceive the American people, it just seemed to me like it wasn't genuine. Like it was like a letter that had to be written for you in order for you to get out or articulate what it is you want to say. And that's just from my standpoint. Did she do a good job with her points? Some yes, some no. You know, there's some issues. There are some issues. You know, she flip-flops on policy. I mean, she flip-flops points of view. But people are entitled to change their mind about certain things. I mean, people change their mind all the time. People most certainly lie. You know, I'm not saying that she's lying. I'm just saying people can have a change of heart. People can be swayed the other way based on information that they receive. What I hate the fact that politics is largely secretive. It's largely hidden from us. There's a lot of minutia and a lot of terminology and language that gets around most of us and a lot of us. And what that does is it makes us uninterested in it. It makes us say, you know what, man, this shit is, I'm just going to turn the fucking channel. I'm not going to listen to this shit. But, man, like it or not, whether we like it or not, it affects our lives. It affects our lives. Who is representing us really does affect our lives. So where does that leave us now? Wonderful question. Wonderful question. Where does that leave us now? Well, it leaves us with someone like a Donald Trump who has said that on day one, you know, well, this is Project 2025, but he has said and has been quoted, and I've seen it live with my own eyes, that if you vote for him and he wins, you'll never have to vote again, which that pretty much either spells monarchy or dictatorship. So, and I'm not down with that. So, but then on the other hand, we have Kamala Harris, who may be down for democracy, but really? I mean, people really, they don't know a lot about you, and some of the things they know about you, they don't necessarily agree with. It's a scary time here in America. It really is, because either way, we are about to hit uncharted territory. Here in this country, we are about to be someplace we've never been before. Every single one of us will be affected, either negatively or positively. And it's going to happen. There's all kinds of crazy fucking talk out there. And I'm not fear-mongering, but I'm just really regurgitating what's been put out there, which is people are threatening civil war. I've heard all kinds of ridiculous shit. Should it go one way or the other? And I'm not going to make this about race. Not this episode. I'm not going to make it about race. I'm just going to make it about humanity and common decency and human decency. I don't want to make it about race. I just want to make it about America and Americans. So that's what this podcast is about, is really what's up with America. And I don't want to shout out and shout down white America. That's not what this podcast today is for. I'm not doing that. You know, and I'm not, you know, amplifying, you know, blackness. That's not what this podcast is about today. It's about whether or not we as Americans want to continue with the America that we have, which we won't. Either way, the America that we have now, come November, is going to be a different America. Are we ready for that? That's what this podcast is about. Now, it's about the debate. That's what I'm talking about today, is the debate. But during the course of the debate, I realized some things. You know, why is this the first debate? And why is this going to be the only debate? Trump said that he doesn't want to debate it again. And that's coming. But why? Why would you not want to come back and try and prove your point intelligently and relevantly? And the answer to that question is, and I hate to say it like this, is I don't think he's capable of doing that because he lets ego get in his way. He gets baited. I mean, it's easy to bait this man. You say something that he didn't do something, and you have to turn everything we was just talking about off so I can respond to this piece of something that you just said in order to clarify what I believe it to be, regardless if it's the truth or not. And likely it's what he's solidifying or trying to solidify isn't based in truth. It's based in his head. It's based in narcissism. It's based in arrogance. It's based in him wanting to be or feel supreme. That's where it is. That's why he doesn't want to debate, because he doesn't feel that he needs to or has anything to prove to anybody. A debate for him is a chore, and you can see it. It's a chore for him. He doesn't want to be there because he doesn't feel that he has to be. And that's wrong. I think that's wrong as a person that wants to represent our country. His lack of willingness to participate in debates or show up for things on time, or in general show up for things, I think that shows poor character in a president. And I'm not, I'm just saying in that particular thing. I'm not trying to badmouth this guy today, okay? We all know how I feel about this motherfucker, but today I'm just stating what it is. Now, did the candidates make their point? Did they? Did they? I think Kamala made some, but I don't think she went far enough. I don't think they were very effective. Some of them weren't effective. And some of them were, she should have not spoke about fracking. But you have to. And that's one of the things I admired, is the fact that even though I got to say something. I can't deflect, even though she did deflect a few things, and that's what they do. They deflect things they don't want to really talk about. But a lot of things she did, she went straight up at. But on the other hand, I don't think Trump really got a chance to get his point across because of him stepping on himself. His downfall is him wanting to amplify himself and put others down. So every time he starts with anything, he starts by amplifying himself, followed by putting others down. And he does that so much that the time limit that he has, he doesn't have time to speak on policy or things that he would or wouldn't do with the presidency. He can't get away from it. He can't get away from insulting people. He can't get away from arrogance. He cannot get away from it. And my question is, again, is that somebody do we want somebody like that? Let me know if that's what we're doing around here, and I can make some adjustments. But I don't think that's what we want. I don't think that's what we need, really. And again, I'm really not trying to make a case for one candidate or the other today. I'm just really kind of weighing it out. Now, and again, at the end of the day, I'm going to vote for who the fuck I'm going to vote for. And everybody, I think it's pretty obvious who I'm going to vote for. But like I said, I'm trying to lay it on the table today on some all right. Do you think they were genuine? And I think I've answered that already. I think Trump was genuine. I think he was genuine. I really do. I don't know if Kamala was she didn't come off as genuine. She came off, like I said, as rehearsed. In my opinion, she came off as, in parts, contrived or pandering for sympathies, or trying to, almost like in comedy, you'd tell a joke and you'd be kind of almost waiting to try to get an applause break, so that you knew that what you said was poignant and it really hit home. Bam! Oh, man, that was great. Not only did they laugh, but I got an applause behind that. And I think that is what some of it was. She was, even though she didn't have an audience, Even though she didn't have an audience, they didn't have an audience. I think that's what she was doing. She was trying to get her applause breaks. And if you're fishing for them, it's just not. To me, that's in bad taste. And just now, if you get them based on how you genuinely feel, and not to say that she didn't hit a few points where she didn't deserve some, absolutely. But there were quite a few where I was just like, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I can believe it. Now, which leads me to my next question is, did you believe him? Did you believe your candidate? Did you believe the person that you support? If you're a MAGA Trump supporter, did you believe him? And I'm sure that you did, But if you're a Republican, if you're just a Republican, you're not necessarily a heavy, hardcore MAGA Republican, but just you're conservative. Did you believe this man? Could you get behind this man? Could you support that? Or are you supporting this because it's your lifelong party? Are you supporting them because you feel that you have no choice? Are you supporting them because you feel like you'll be ridiculed by your friends? It's okay to vote for democracy if you don't get what I mean. If you don't want to vote democratically, that's fine. I get it. But if you would like to continue democracy, I think in this instance, I think it'd be safe to say that this one time for you to vote democratically so that we can continue to have a democracy may not be too much to have or solidify the fact that we get to keep our democracy. I don't think that's too much to really ask. You get what I'm saying? I just don't think that's too much to ask. Did they seem trustworthy? That's another one. Now, this one, again, is on the fence. I don't trust Donald Trump. And I don't know why anybody does. I mean, I kind of do because he's a fucking slick-talking, fast-ass motherfucker. And again, not to bash the guy, but, he's great at marketing. He's a marketing genius, and I understand. He's a charismatic dude. He has this brash, I'm going to go against but do you believe him? Is he a trustworthy person? Would you let Donald Trump watch your children? Huh? What about take care of your dog? Huh? Would you trust Donald Trump to take care of you if you were sick? Huh? Would you trust Donald Trump to come see you in the hospital if you were sick and ailing? Could you trust Kamala Harris to do the same thing? Is she trustworthy? Can you trust her to be who she says she is for the people who she says she's doing it for? Can you trust her to be that person? Can you trust her to be that president? And my answer is this. Like I said, you know how I feel about Trump, but can I trust Kamala Harris? One thing I know is that I feel like I can trust her because I feel she genuinely wants to see women and minorities succeed. It's very simple. It's very simple. I completely believe that she wants to see women and minorities succeed. And not only succeed, she wants them to thrive. And I do not have a problem with that. I can see a lot of unity in her face. She smiles. Her smile is very genuine. That's one thing. Body language is very important. And a lot of people are like, that's bullshit, but it really is not. And a person that smiles a lot genuinely is a happy person. They are a lighthearted person. People that smile and laugh a lot, they're open. People that frown a lot genuinely or generally aren't very open. If you're frowning all the time, that means you got a fucking problem with everything. This man frowns at everything all the time. He's got a frown at everything. I always see this woman smiling. And in that, she has a very warm smile, a very engaging smile. She has a contagious laugh that people are just, but her laugh is genuine. Her laugh is heartfelt. Her smile is what makes me believe that I can trust her. Her ability to look you in the face, and tell you how she looked during the debate. I don't know if anybody noticed, he didn't look at her at all. She looked at him damn near every point she made as if to say, I'm not talking to the TV. I'm not talking to the moderators. I'm talking directly to you. As if to say that. She turned into him a lot. And that right there, I trust that because I'm not afraid to face you. I'm not afraid to face you. And you can say what you want about me. That's still, I will not ever be afraid to face you. And it just seemed that he did not respect her enough to even engage her with eye contact or even turn at all. And I don't know what the reasoning was, but whatever. In that moment, I saw somebody who was not engaging or willing to engage, willing to stand up and face what's being said to him, what's being put to him. That's what I saw. Somebody who deflects what is being put to him. That's what I saw, and I'm just calling it like I fucking see it. So yeah, I think that she could be a very trustworthy person. Is she rough around the edges? Does she have work to do? Motherfucking right. Motherfucking right. She does. She's got a lot of proving to do to a lot of people. But I think that she deserves the opportunity to do that. I think she deserves the opportunity to not only prove it to people, but to lead this country. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I think it's absolutely wonderful that a woman is actually challenging the narrative that has been in this country for so long. And how ironic and how wonderful that it's a woman of color. You know, not to spin it around and bring it back to race, but I'll tell you what, it does feel good. It feels good to see other people that are represented in America having a voice. I want to shout out the mediators for keeping them on task, or trying to anyway. David Muir was the fucking man. He just wasn't having it. He just was not having it. He just was, listen, the question was this. And if you can't answer the question, then we're going to answer the question again. And that's what he did, Mr. President. You know what I mean? And he was not afraid to try and neither was the other. They were not afraid to confront them, to ask them real things, to ask them over and over again, and completely be stiff and deadpan and straight. Although, you know, this guy says that ABC, they cornered him up, and I mean, whatever, man. They just asked you questions that you couldn't answer. And that's what I mean. They did the same thing to her. They asked her the same questions that they asked you. And that's what, and a few different ones, you know, specifically tailored to the things that you did during your administration, during your respective administrations. That's all they did. So again, shout out to the mediators for not taking that shit, for not just brushing it the fuck. Okay, let's move on to the next one. No. We're gonna lean into it, and we're gonna be stern about it. Because David Muir is like, we're gonna be stern about it. I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass. How about that? That's how I got from him. So I definitely respect that guy, and I respect the fact that, you know, he has been a lot of places and has seen and covered a lot of stories. You know, he has exposed a lot of negative things in the country. I respect that guy. You know, and I respect the fact that, you know, he didn't lean one way or the other. He just put the questions the way that they were without showing in, really almost like in a Mr. Spock-esque kind of way. I think that was a good choice to have him mediated, even if it was on, you know, anything, any other platform, any other platform. But what I really think they should do with the mediators is from all of the news organizations, there should be a mediator from each organization. Now, I know we got ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, a few other channels out there, but I think that what they should be done is them grouped into a conglomerate of teams, and then those teams, they all have mediators that present the questions, so that one candidate doesn't feel like he's being ganged up on by the other candidate and the mediators, to keep it fair. Because again, we are trying to achieve fairness here, everywhere, all around. Not just in elections, but fairness amongst humanity in this country, thus the world. Fairness. Now, I know the world isn't fair. I'm not a dumbass. But that is what we're striving for anyway, right? Ain't that the dream? At least I thought it was. For us to have a free and fair country and election. But increasingly, day by day, we have people trying to take it over for their special interests to make their future comfortable for them without the regard for the rest of us. And it's time that the rest of us really stop falling for it. I'm just going to say that. However, it is our duty as Americans to uphold our democracy. And anything that threatens our democracy, as Americans, it is our duty to challenge and fight it. And that's the facts, Jack. Whether you like it or not, and I don't care about all you American flag hat wearing, waving that think that you guys are on the right side of history. I don't care about all of that, because it's clear that you guys are on the wrong side. Anything that causes you to be hateful is the wrong side. Anything that causes you not to have any sort of compassion for humankind, or not to feel the human condition, it's not a decent thing. It's not a decent thing, not a decent person. I've always been brought up that decent people have compassion for people. Decent people help people. They don't hurt people. And they don't help specific people. They help everyone. Their help is not selective. It's selfless. I'm going to take a quick fabs break, and when I come back, we're going to keep talking about this debate that they had the other night. This is Darren Harris Podcast.
The Outcast Podcast, where diversity meets hilarity. A white guy, a brown guy, and a black guy walk in to do a podcast, and this is what you get. The Outcast Podcast. It's the white-knuckle thrill ride that'll have you at the edge of your seat. Rolling Stone raves. They're unstoppable. A force to be reckoned with. New episodes drop weekly. Stream it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Watch weekly live on YouTube. The Outcast Podcast.
The podcast playground. Hooray!
Now, back to the Darren Harris Podcast.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the show. Today I'm talking about the debate and whether or not you believed your candidate, whether or not it's safe to move forward with these candidates in our country. What do you feel? Are we on a good path or are we on a bad path? Of course, one side's going to think one way and the other side's going to think the other. But what did you think? What did you think about your own candidate? What did you think about your own candidate? Ask yourself that question. Did they perform to the standards that you expected them to? Did they hit the marks? Bill O'Reilly, I mean, we already know how he feels about Kamala Harris, but he said they both had bad debates. They both had a bad debate. I almost kind of half-ass agree with him, which is a fucking first, but I almost kind of halfway agree with him. I think Kamala could have been a little more. She could have been a little more aggressive. I think she should have been a little more aggressive in going for the jugular. And I think that Trump, if he wanted to win, he should have presented some issues. He should have answered some questions. He shouldn't have tried to deflect everything that was asked of him. He shouldn't have tried to have so much lack of accountability going. There was a few things. I don't think she convinced a lot of people. I mean, I think she maybe some more, but I think some people may have felt like I did as well with it being contrived. And I'm sorry, not really sorry, but I'm afraid that this might sway them in a different direction. But I don't know how it could, because if I'm looking at this person and looking at that person, I'm not going to choose this dude over here. I'm just not going to choose, because he doesn't seem like, he got too much longer left in him anyway. Not life-wise. I'm just talking, cognitive decline, man. I mean, he is an old dude as well. The shit that he was trying to attack Biden on is now blowing up in his face. What do you got left in the tank? But what's going to happen if he becomes the president is, I wouldn't be surprised to see his son, one of his sons, it being the control of the country being left to one of them, or appointed by him before he goes, or is no longer able to govern the country. That scares me, because I look at his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. Fucking really? If Trump wins and something happens to Trump, is that going to be our president? For real? Because that's scary shit right there on so many levels. On so many levels. That's just, that's right. That's wrong beyond wrongness. That's made from the finest bits of wrong. J.D. Vance, I don't think he's a capable vice presidential candidate, much less a fucking president. But if Trump becomes the president, I feel that the title president is going to go away. And I think it's just going to be bad for a lot of people here, because they will be forgotten and they will be swept under the rug and they will be walked over and treated as less than. They'll make it so people that want to come here and seek a better life, like their ancestors once did, won't be able to do that. I hate fear-mongering, and Trump did a lot of it. There was a lot of fear-mongering. They're going to do this, and they're going to eat the dogs and eat the cats. What the fuck is that? This is where I break down. This is where all that shit kind of breaks down for a second. Debate aside for just a second. This is where that shit picks up. The immigrants are eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. That is fear-mongering. That's all it is you fear-mongering motherfuckers, man. And that shit is cowardly. Be scared. Be scared. I can protect you. But you won't. You'll protect you and your family, maybe a few of your friends. But do you think this man is going to do anything for you? I don't know. I mean, he had no clear policy. I mean, he couldn't say shit about the abortion ban, just deflected that shit, deflected Ukraine. They asked him directly. I mean, and a lot of that shit is a yes or no. As simple as that. That's my problem, is the motherfucking minutia. And that's in that minutia is the subliminal message that you receive. Do you think Ukraine should win this war? That is a yes or no question. I just want people to stop dying. Okay. So that means depending, we're asking a different question, is if you want Ukraine to keep their independence, which is, that's what should have been the question, is can you support Ukraine in its independence, or can you not? That's very direct. Doesn't have anything. You didn't say the word war or nothing. I don't know, man. I don't know. Eating the dogs and eating the cats. No accountability for January 6th. Nothing. Deflection. That's all we got from it, was complete and total deflection about January 6th. That's our nation's capital, man. And again, regardless of how we got here, regardless of who our ancestors were and what they had to suffer through, and I'm thankful and glad for that every day. But regardless of that, I don't know, man. You got to take some sort of accountability. You have to, in order to be able to lead the country. And this is why I don't trust you. This is why a lot of people are having a hard time trusting this person, because there is no accountability. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never me. I didn't know anything about it, which is complete and total bullshit. I mean, and if you don't think it's bullshit, then you need to get your fucking head checked. It's like going to get your head checked. I mean, it's like you need to get your head checked. I kind of babbled over that, but I'm just sitting here thinking about, oh my God, I can't believe how people just believe the rhetoric. They just believe it. And again, I'm not trying to badmouth the guy, but it is fucking rhetoric. It is bullshit. The guy spits a ton of fucking lies a mile a fucking minute. If lies were bullets, half the country would be fucking dead anyway. He got mad. The guy gets mad because he gets checked on shit. And I don't know why. Why are you mad? Because somebody is fact checking you. I thought it was true. If it was true, you shouldn't be mad. But the fact that people check you on your shit and then prove you wrong shows me that you have no problem with deceiving people into believing what you want them to believe for personal gain. Huh? That won't give you all the rest of that shit? Because it does for me. That gives that right. That's the vibe I get from that. It's deceiving, bro. And I ain't down for it. I can't stand for it. Now, on the other foot, man, Harris, even though we share the same last name, you got some proving to do to me. You really do. There's some issues that, you just be flip-flopping. I don't know if I could trust you. Sometimes you seem a little unorganized. But, you coming into your own. But the fact that you don't talk to nobody, the fact that people, just now you're starting to do, like, interviews and shit like that. But if I was the first black woman running for president in history, I'd be all over every fucking thing. But the fact that you're not, like, you are because of other people. Other people got you out there. But you don't have yourself out there. If you ain't got nothing to hide and you ain't got nothing to prove, then how come you ain't out there? The one thing I can say about Donald Trump is he's willing to put himself out there. He's had several TV interviews. He'll go on television and spew his bullshit, but at least he's been on television. Now, you've been on television, what, once, twice, something like that? And thank you for opening up a little bit more, but we need you to have done that a while ago. People need to know who you are. People need to understand who you are. As simple as that. People need to understand who you are. You have a long road to hoe still. So you got to think about that. I'll take another break. When I come back, I'm going to wrap it up. All right, y'all? Be right back.
It's bold. It's sweet. It's sexy. Introducing new Stella Rosa Brandy in 3 fruit-forward flavors: smooth black, honey peach, and tropical passion. Ask your retailer for Stella Rosa Premium Imported Brandy. Please celebrate responsibly.
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Hey, everybody, what's happening? Welcome back to the show. Talking about the debate today, and whether or not your candidate made the impression on you that was intended. Did you believe it? Did you fall for it? Do you believe the other candidate? Do you think that your party is in trouble? Do you think that you have a chance? How do you feel? I feel that after last night's debate, I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that Harris is going to start to be ahead. Maybe not by much at first, but I think she's going to start to pull ahead out of desperation. Now, maybe the Trump campaign has something up its sleeve the closer we get to election date, but it's September. We got October, and then November is about to be the jump off. So I believe that if Trump is going to pull it out, then he needs to start really focusing on policy and issues and not being a dictator and making people believe that. And I don't think that's possible. So in my prediction, I think it's going to be Harris 2024. But there have been some predictions out and about. My prediction means nothing. I'm just a guy. But there's a guy, and this guy has predicted every presidential election for the past 10 or so years, 10 presidents or something like that, with the exception of maybe one, but which he chalks up to maybe somebody cheated, something like that. So I don't know. I don't know. So he predicted that, and I'll get into that for a second, but ChatGPT made its prediction also. ChatGPT 5, the world's, according to a bunch of people, the world's premier AI chatbot. The world's premier AI chatbot, ChatGPT 5, said, prepare and brace yourself for a Harris presidency. So ChatGPT 5 says that Harris is going to win. Now, what about the analysts, the professional analysts? Well, a lot of analysts are on the fence. Right now, the race is really close. Some places have, her up by a couple points. Other places have him up by a couple points. Some places have him up by, a good considerable margin. Some places have the same for her. Analysts are all over the place. It's six one way, half a dozen the other. But what are the odds? Who's going to win? What are the odds that Kamala Harris wins the presidency? What are those odds? Well, you can go to oddchecker.com and check out the U.S. political betting odds if you want to lose some money. You can go bet on this thing if you want. Try to make a couple of dollars, which that's what I think, man. I think that we should bet on this shit. But I don't think just them running on some campaign shit. They got to do some shit in order to get my vote. Like, I think, and I have one of my jokes is this, and I feel like this because I really do feel like this. I think presidential candidates should bare knuckle box for president or something competitive like that. Some shit that's strenuous or physical or competitive, like Survivor for president. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody naked and afraid for president. Some shit like that where motherfuckers doing some shit that gives me value as the voter or as the bettor where where I could get I could make a couple of dollars off you. If I put my money in you and you win, that just re-solidifies my commitment and my loyalty to your cause. But if I put my money in your ass and you fucking lose, then I know where I should have put my money in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And it all comes down to who wants it more, who got the better fight game, who's training harder for this fight. I think that if you say you fighting for something and you champion for something, then you need to see it through with both fucking barrels. And a lot of people, unfortunately, Kamala, they jump ship. They switch sides. They fishy. They wishy-washy. They flip-floppy. I hope that you are not that person. I really don't want to put my vote in that. But I'm not going to put my vote in the other way, and I have to vote. But I do hope that you do a good job. I want you to do a good job. I really do. And I hope that if you are selected as the president of the United States, that you will consider everything that you told us that you will do, and you will hold yourself accountable for the things that you don't, unlike Mr. Trump. So, before I get to it's Alan. His name is Alan. Alan Lichman's prediction. I want to talk about Taylor Swift versus Trump. Taylor Swift is going to be the reason Donald Trump loses because she's somebody, I hate to say it, she's super influential with so many people all over the world. Anything she says moves the needle. Much like Beyonce, same way. Anything they say moves the needle. And she endorsed Kamala Harris the other day. Somebody said, "Oh, well, you can kiss all those conservative listeners goodbye." I doubt that. Because I think there's a lot of conservative people that do not like or respect the MAGA party. Okay? Let's just face it. It's not the Republicans anymore. Not like everybody. It's the MAGA party. And that's what it should be called. It shouldn't be called the Republicans. They should be called the MAGA party. Because that's what they want a dictator. They're okay with that. Because they've been brainwashed. And again, let me get off that. I'm trying to stay off it. I'm trying to stay off of bad mouthing this dude. So in that, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast. But before that, I want to just let you guys know who Alan Lichman's prediction for the president was. This guy has predicted the last 9 of the last 10 presidents. And his pick for the president of the United States in 2024 is Kamala Harris. Now, I don't know what that means. But I do know that it means we need to be prepared for what happens next here in our country. Every one of us needs to be prepared. We need to stay diligent. We need to stay woke and keep our eyes open because they are going to be actively trying to undo what has been done. You follow me? That's going to do it for me, man. At least for this week. I know I've been talking about me doing this one subject, talk about the cootie cat, but I promise I'm going to try. Listen to that. I'm just waiting for my wife to sit there and talk with me about it, but we're going to get down to it because I really want to talk about the cootie cat health. So, but think about today, folks, man. I mean, think about it, man. Think about it. Did you believe these people, man? Is this what we got? Do you really believe it? Is this who you really want to be president? Or is there somebody else that you'd rather see in the place of these people to represent their parties? What would you say? What do you think? I want to thank my parents for giving me a mouthpiece, man. I say that every week, but I'm absolutely grateful that I could talk, man, that I'm talking to people. I'm having some problems with anxiety, but I can at least talk. And I'm thankful for that. I want to thank my wife for being super encouraging and super supportive and super respectful in my endeavors. I want to thank my best friend and producer, Jesse Yandel, for giving me some insight. Always giving me some insight, always giving me some good conversation, always giving me the tools I need to succeed. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for, again, also giving me the tools I need to succeed. Thanks, G. I do appreciate you, man, for keeping me on the platform. And like I said, I'm going to continue to do good by you, man. So, and lastly, I want to thank all my listeners, man. I want to thank you guys. I really do. I hope that I'm giving you guys some decent content, man, because I really do care. It really is important to me whether or not you are getting something out of this, if you're being enriched, if it's helping you think, if it's, just if it's anything for you, if it brings the good side in you out, if it brings the bad side in you out, is it affecting you? I hope it is, man. I really hope that my efforts are appreciated. I would love for them to inspire people to get out and voice their opinion, voice how they feel, stand up for what they believe in. And I want to give that to you guys. I want to go ahead and say, listen, man, I started doing this a few years ago. I started podcasting a few years ago because I had something that I wanted to say, and I didn't feel like anybody was listening to me or I could say it. And I'm glad that I actually found podcasting because it has allowed me to reach over 1 million people, man. And I am thankful for that. And because of that, I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for everybody out there that's listening, man. I really do. I love you all, and I miss you. I mean, and I miss you, but I love you all, man. I really do, man. I really do. And it just makes me feel so good to be able to come on every week, with something and, hopefully, change somebody's life. I'm very excited to do that. I'm very excited to be a part of that. So, all right, buddy. All right, everybody. I will talk to you guys next week, man. Hopefully everybody has a good week this week. Think about it. Think about it. Don't let the political hoopla and minutia prevent you guys from getting together. Prevent people from becoming real citizens of this country, real comrades and citizens of this country. I hope that everybody is able to see that the people that are here, we want to love our country. We want to love our country. We want our country to love us. We want to love all of our countrymen. We want to coexist. We want to be that strong, cohesive, bonded piece of metal that everybody respects, that is revered. I want to be that here in this country, y'all. But we need everybody's help to do it. I need your help. Can we do it, y'all? Can we do it? And the way we do it is stop being shitty to each other because a politician told you to be. Stop it. Stop being shitty to each other because a politician told you to be. Because at the end of the day, these politicians, they don't give a fuck about us, man. We got to understand that. We got to internalize that. All right? So until next week, I am Deron Harris, and this has been the Deron Harris Podcast, folks. Peace.
You've been listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DeronHarris.com.